All right, what's going on, everyone? Anthony Cofrancesco here from Data Dive, and this is a very special office hours segment because I get to be here live in person with Peter Paul Mann from Intellivy. We are here at the MDS Inspire event in Las Vegas, and today what we're going to be doing is sharing a real-world case study and a brand new workflow that just made itself available on the Data Dive website. So this is going to be Intellivy's approach to CTR and CVR optimization. If you've been following around on office hours, you saw that a couple months ago, we released the Data Dive workflow for CTR and CVR optimization. Now, these are great workflows that you can follow. They work super well. But as you've seen in the other videos, I always say you have two inputs in your business. You have time and you have money. So the data dive workflows will definitely get you a top-notch result on your creatives. The problem is they take a lot of time, right? We're talking for main image optimization, we're talking like 4 to 6 hours, and the CVR optimization, we're talking like 12 hours plus. Like it is a long process. And so what this workflow is going to show you today is how you can spend a little bit of money. We're talking like a couple $100 investment, probably get better. Actually, you're certainly going to get better insights than you're going to be able to arrive at yourself. But instead of it taking hours for you to do this analysis, you're going to get a lot of the information basically from the start. So I'm going to jump into just a couple of quick data dive announcements, start sharing the screen. You're going to hear a lot from Peter Paul throughout. But do you want to quickly introduce yourself?
Oh yeah, well, I find it so special. Like we're sitting here at I'm just gonna grab the camera here. So because we are sitting here right now in Vegas, so this is the space where we are right now. So it's the MDS event in Vegas, and we just grabbed the opportunity to be here this morning, and this is so amazing. Like I really find it so interesting that we are both active in the space in the Amazon space. Data Dive, Intellivy, helping you guys, Amazon sellers, to make the best out of your business. So it's amazing to do this, and I'm really excited. So I don't think it's needed to introduce myself. You can find me on LinkedIn, everywhere. So Facebook, and I'm here in Vegas, also at Prosper. So yeah, maybe more to say about me. What I don't know.
Peter Paul is the master when it comes to market research, and you're going to find that the approach that Intellivy has is highly technical and it is very, very precise. It's a little bit more difficult first time than using some of these other tools. But it's taken me actually a little bit of time to wrap my head fully around it. Sometimes when Peter talks, it's like I have to try to work a little bit to put it all together. But once you get it, it's really, really smart. And I think you guys are going to really like this workflow. So yeah, let's.
Yeah, and I think it's also, you're saying that, and I'm always talking about hypothesis-driven optimization. So, and that's already a term by itself. Like I talk about it so often, and everybody knows A/B testing, but split testing is just a part of it. It's kind of like the mechanism to do it all. And within Intellivy, that's how we use it. But indeed, yeah. I
Okay.
hope I don't make it too technical today.
I'll try to keep you on track, and I think it's going to be a good session. So
Yeah.
let's we're going to start sharing the screen. As always, I'm going to do a couple of very quick announcements, and then we're going to get into the workflow. Okay, beautiful. So I've got us up here. I'm going to make us a little bit bigger. Oh no, maybe you can't do that.
You can go to
Okay. Okay, that's perfect. Okay, so a couple of quick announcements, and then we're going to get into the content. Like I said, this is office hours, and this is going to be a real world case study. If you're watching this on YouTube, you can feel free to use the section markers down on the bottom of the screen to skip around. If you want to skip the intro, if you've seen this before, totally fine. If you are not already using a Data Dive account and you want to sign up for a free trial, you can go to datadive.tools/demo and book a free onboarding call. If you already have an account and you just need some extra support, just reach out to support and say you want to speak with Scott Suggs. He is our dedicated CSM, and he can help get you all set up on setting up Rank Radar, expanding your account. His schedule is quite full, but you might have to wait a little bit to talk to him. Yeah. This is going to be a live session. Peter and I have pre-recorded this, but if you have any questions, you can feel free to raise your hand or add your questions to the chat. I will do my best to answer all of them. And then I always like to say there's 3 different ways that you can become a data dive expert. We have our knowledge base powered by our AI chatbot. we have our YouTube channel, and then we do office hours 3 times a week. So you can access the knowledge base by clicking on the question mark icon in the bottom right-hand side of the screen, and you can go straight to the knowledge base right here, or you can type your question into the chat, for example, how to start a dive, and then our AI assistant will look through all of the articles that we have, and it'll find you the correct knowledge base article. We've also recently added a button that says Help Hub on the top of every page. So let's say you're on the listing builder and you're not quite sure what to be doing there. Click on Help Hub and it'll route you to the knowledge base article, and it'll show you the YouTube video for explaining that section of the tool. Now, all of our prior office hours videos are on the YouTube channel. We have a ton of content there. Just go to Data Dive Tools to subscribe. We have almost 3,000 subscribers. And like I said, there's going to be a bonus session that Peter, Paul, and I recorded in New York back in November at AMZ Innovate. And it's going to go even deeper into setting up these polls, the rationale behind what polls were used. And you'll be able to see all of that on the YouTube channel as well. This is office hours. So if you're joining, you obviously know about office hours. And this is a section that we call real world case studies. So on the YouTube channel, we have 2 other different formats. We have Quick Start Guide, which is basically, here's what all of the buttons are in the tool. Here's what they do. Speed Round is going through and doing those workflows very, very quickly. So you can see the repetition. You can get really good at SEO optimization, CTR, CVR, revenue. Real world case studies is like when we actually apply these workflows in the real world, how do they work? And so this workflow is based off of a real world case study that we did for a set of kids' binoculars. And we actually used Intellivy testing and our creative team to bring to life some of these really good assets that you've seen the final result of in our CTR and CVR workflows. So I'm not going to go into a ton of depth for this right now because you can see it on our CTR and CVR workflow, but we went through multiple versions of these images to get to the images that we set up. You can see we've got like 5 different versions of our main images. We created A+ content, we created packaging, we created branding. And if you want to get results that look like this, like the first version of this image didn't look this good. It was through the feedback we got through Intellivy, through market research, through variations and revisions in our team that we're able to get this kind of end result. So if you're looking for the same thing, you're going to want to check out these videos and really check out the workflow that we're showing you today. So if you want to get this workflow, these are totally free access. You can go to datadive.tools/workflows and then scroll all the way down to the bottom of the page. And you're going to see we've got a new one here. This is Intellivy's approach to CTR and CVR. So click on this and it's going to bring you to this beautiful PDF guide. And let's see, can we full screen this, Peter?
I don't know. Maybe like, no, I don't know.
Okay, let's do this. We'll close this. And then
you can make it
just
bigger.
Make it bigger here. Yeah.
There you go.
Okay. So yeah, we've put together this really nice PDF. We're going to be walking through, like I said, watch the accompanying video that we shot in New York, and you'll be able to see exactly how we set up all of the polls. So this is just a little bit about Peter Paul. Like I just want to reinforce this: 2 inputs in the business, time and money. This is not necessarily a pitch for Intellivy. Do whatever you want, right? But if you want to save yourself some time and sacrifice a little bit of money, Brandon uses this extensively. Like you can use the code seller systems, do whatever you want, but this is a great approach.
Well, this morning again, we had a short conversation about it. Like I strongly believe like we are selling products on Amazon or whatever channel you want to do, like Walmart or Shopify or whatever. At the end of the day, it all comes down to happy customers. So, and that sounds like, oh, so like maybe, of course, like that's obvious, but it really makes a difference. So if you understand like what is generating that click, what is it that people actually look for, then how to make sure that you stop the scroll, how to make sure that if you are getting the people on the listing, that they are really getting, you grab the attention. So they really see like, oh, that's the benefit I'm looking for. That's the feature that I want. Instead of just having a space where so many consumers, I name them like information gatherers, most of the time you see that people are clicking around and they go to listings. No, that's not it. They go back. And that's not it. They place one to the wish list and they go back. And now you have to simulate that process. You need to understand the customer journey beforehand.
Yeah.
And if you understand it, you can create a listing that's getting that click, getting that conversion. And at the end of the day, also get good reviews because people are just buying what they want. And you're in the place as a seller to make sure that it's going to happen.
Yeah, you don't need to guess it, right? You can literally get the exact information that you need in terms of how to build your products, how to build your listings.
Exactly.
So let's get into this because we got a little bit to go through today. If you want to click around in the guide, you can click and navigate to any sections. But overall, what we're going to be doing is first, we're going to create our niche and data dive. We're going to analyze competitors. Then we're going to run through the purchase barrier poll. We call it the DRAB, the dominant reasons to avoid buying. Then we're going to talk about the image stack baseline. The marketplace poll is something that's like optional and extra. Peter was asking me if we really wanted to include it, but I wanted to make sure this guide went in a lot of depth. And then we go through interpret results and kind of next steps. So I'll go through this pretty quick because I think most data dive users are pretty familiar with this. But first thing you're going to do is create your niche. Basically, download the data dive Chrome extension, start with your hero keyword. In this case, we're going to be using kids binoculars. And then you're going to either do a niche dive or add 15 of your top competitors to your ace and tray. You name your dive, click start niche, start dive rather, and then it's going to populate all of the results. Then you can go into deep dive, just navigate on the left-hand side of your screen, and you can click on the collapse toggle. It's basically going to show you all of the image galleries all in one spot. And then once you've got an idea of like what images are in your niche, your main images and your secondary images, now we can move on to the purchase barrier poll. So I'll kind of let you go through this. I mean, everyone can follow the step-by-step instructions here. It's going to talk a little bit about setting it up. Hopefully it's not going to be too loud. There's like a guy
cleaning the floor.
A girl vacuuming the floor. But well, walk us through
I find it good related with purchase barrier because it's kind of like cleaning up the mess. So maybe it's almost
okay. Very good. Yeah,
like
good
a sound that fits with the purchase barrier poll. So I like it.
Okay.
So yeah, if we talk, shall I show it like the purchase barrier poll that we did? Is that?
I think so. There's another video where we actually set all of these up. What I think would be better is what is the purchase barrier poll?
Yeah.
What does it accomplish?
Yeah.
Why do people want to run it?
Yeah. So
because this is one of my favorite polls of any of the softwares out there that do market research. This one is extremely valuable. I really like this one a lot.
Exactly. So well, when you're entering a niche and you're figuring out like, hey, I want to know if people really want to buy this product, the first thing you need to know what would be their objections not to buy it. So the dumb reason that avoid buying. So we ask in a poll, we show like main image and title of the concept that you have in mind, might also be a future competitor that you have in mind. You just drop it into the purchase barrier poll and you ask a group of respondents, even segmented, like really specific. It has to be a house mom, or it has to be maybe a fitness enthusiast, whatever. And you're just going to ask a focus group of 100 people or 150 people, like, hey, what would be a reason not to buy this product?
Yeah.
So they see a main image and a title. That's all they see. But then they come up with objections like, well, maybe I would doubt, like, what about the comfort? Or if it's not, if the quality is not good enough, then I would not buy it. Or if whatever. So they really going to give you details that you can fix. So let's show it, because otherwise you have no idea what's happening here. So here's someone walking around. There you have it.
It's okay. We'll do it live.
We'll do it live. So it's all happening here. But that's what it does. So it's giving you a list of like actual consumers giving feedback to your concept, to your idea, or to a product already visible on Amazon. And they give you objections like this would not be my reason to buy it.
Yeah.
Does it make sense?
This is super good. And if you watch the other video, you'll be able to see the purchase barrier poll that we ran for the kids binoculars. What I thought was interesting is I spent all of this time concepting out, looking at the other competitor images, categorizing them from going into deep dive. Some people were talking about durability. Some people were talking about, is it safe for children? Some people were talking about colors. I'm going to keep going.
Yeah.
Some people were talking about colors. What was super interesting about running this DRAB analysis, running the purchase barrier poll, is all of the images that I had concepted, and I spent literally like 6 hours, categorizing all these images. the purchase barrier poll gave me like the top 10 reasons
Mm.
in order of ranking, and they were like one for one exactly what I had. So again, if I wanted to avoid spending 6 hours and figure out like what do I need to reinforce in my listing, just run the purchase barrier poll, find out the dominant reasons to avoid buying, and you're
Exactly.
pretty much given all of the answers for like
Exactly,
150 bucks.
and just to name an example, so for instance, we did a purchase poll around the minimalistic wallet. We
Okay.
showed the minimalistic wallet, and we asked people like, "Hey, if you see this, what would be a reason not to buy it?" And then people come up like, "Well, if it's not comfortable in my back pocket or whatever, then I would not buy it."
Yeah.
Then if you check just an average listing, it's like all over the time you just see like the minimalistic wallet from all angles
Yeah.
through the whole listing, but none of the images is saying anything about comfort. So you don't see the minimalistic wallet in the back pocket of a jeans or whatever. And that's exactly the missing point. So you're kind of missing that you're not communicating that it's also comfortable to wear, to have it in your pocket.
Yeah.
It's a simple thing, but it's really something that you need to fix.
Heck yeah. Yeah, I like this a lot. So this is just going through the steps on how to set it up. Like I said, you can check out the other video and we go into like you'll see exactly a screen sharing of us doing it.
Yeah.
But you're basically going to select the purchase barrier pool, write your
What do
situation.
you think of that, by the way, the situation? So the shopping scenario.
Walk us through. So for like the kids' binoculars, for example, I don't remember exactly what it was, but what does it mean to like generate and select the
Well, it
situation?
has to do if you buy a binocular,
Okay.
then there might be like maybe you're buying it first time, so you're like I want to buy a binocular for my child, and I'm just figuring out like what is a good option for me. So then you are really like without any clue, you're just checking the Amazon marketplace, looking for what's the best option for me. But it might be that you already purchased one for someone else and you're buying a gift again. So you already have some experience with it. Or maybe you're already juiced by with some, I say juiced, but like you had word of mouth, like someone spoke about it and you know some stuff. So the shopping scenario, the situation is helpful because it starts to bring the respondent in the situation. Like imagine now that you are looking on Amazon for a binocular and you already know this or that. Now, what would be important to you? So that's the moment where we ask people in the shopping scenario,
Yeah.
if you're in this stage searching, looking for a binocular, what would be important to you?
Yeah.
And it's framing the respondent, and it also is helpful for the next step.
Yep. Okay. Cool. And then you're going to add your product.
Yep.
It's going to make a marketplace simulation. What was also cool about this is we could blur out different characteristics like reviews, price. What is really interesting, and Peter was actually talking to me about this yesterday, is you get very little information on this. It's supposed to be intentionally vague. You don't really get too much extra information about what is inside of this listing. You're not looking at the full PDP. And based on that, I think with these vague answers, it forces these people who are answering these Intellivy polls, they're not actually going and buying your product. And so it's actually good because I think it makes them imagine a little bit of like, if I was buying, it puts you into that situation. If I was buying these kids' binoculars, what conceivably would be the potential reasons that I would have not to buy the product? And then you're just literally going to take this list that it's going to give you
Exactly.
and bring that in. You can do audience targeting, obviously. You can do advanced segmentation. We've got a whole video that's going to explain. You can see the exact criteria. I think for this, we just chose like people who had children. And
Yeah.
that's what we did. Again, you won't see it here. We'll see how the timing looks at the end of this video. But like, check out the other poll. You can see, and I know I showed it in the CTR and the CVR workflow video. I know we showed the drab analysis, but it's really clean how the information is displayed. It gives you 10 reasons in ranked order of priority of the dominant reasons to avoid buying. And then it also gives you some extra like AI analysis and then instructions for the designer, like how you might go and create images to overcome these potential objections. So I would say in terms of importance, if you're going to run one test, drab is, in my opinion, like if you're like, I only have budget for one, I want to do something, I think drab is extremely, extremely beneficial if you're early on in making your creative assets. It's going to give you, I'd say, get you like 80, 90% of the way there. But let's say that you have a little bit more budget, or you're just working on a product that you know does well, and you're just trying to get a little bit more return and just optimize the listing. Well, now you can move on to the image stack poll. So walk us through what's the basis of the image stack poll.
So the image stack poll is all about sales.
Okay.
It's the moment where you are showing the collection of images, like the gallery. But now you need to understand, like, what is it that I need to show to the consumer to make sure that they're going to buy your product. And you need like other competitors, like other listings, and the best is to really use different presentations of other competitors because then you learn the most. I find it very interesting, by the way, with Data Dive, you get the overview of all the stacks.
Yep.
So you can really pick one that's best to test up against. And then it will help you to get positive and negative feedback on the images.
Yep.
So it's going to help you to understand like what is really needed to build up the story to make sure that you're going to sell the product. And many times I see like images, for instance, quality. No, I have to make a good example. Like, so there's maybe one benefit, like material, like they use the best material for a product, and then image number one, no, number two, number three, number four. It's kind of repeating the same benefit all over, all the time, all the time.
Yeah.
And you see it many times. And but you have to build it up. So you need to make sure that the second image is bringing benefit number one, the third benefit number four, and so on. Does it make sense?
Yeah, it does make sense.
It's really early in the morning, so
No, you're doing great. I mean, it's basically like you have and ideally, if let's say you run the drab analysis first, we went through multiple revisions of the images. Once you get your final, and now you're like, okay, this is something I would theoretically upload to Amazon. You can run this image stack poll, see how your images compare to a competitor's, and see like, are they actually outperforming? Are there further optimizations you could make? And I guess you could use it earlier in the process too. Yeah.
So yesterday I did an image stack poll, and it was about disposable orange gloves. So disposable gloves. And one of the competitors, so the image stack is from image number 1 to image number 5, was all about versatility. So everybody's praising that. But versatility, let's be honest, if someone's buying a disposable glove, the versatility in the marketplace doesn't really matter. Because if I'm buying it for gardening, then who cares that I can also use it for my car or whatever? So within the image stack, it might be very valuable, but in the actual marketplace, it's way more about versatility, but also the strength, also the comfort of the gloves, the quality, like the durability. So there's much more to it. So then you are building up the story instead of just following what the competitor is doing from image number 1 to image number 7. Yeah. Versatility, that's not important because that's kind of cluttered.
Yeah.
You have to understand that the consumer is coming into the marketplace for gardening or for maintenance to the car or whatever. Of course, you have to address that you can use it for more tasks, but it's not needed to bring that in all images.
Yeah.
And we learned that it's enough to just do it in image number 6 and done.
Right. I like it too for helping to determine what's the order of images in your gallery, how you be prioritizing information. You're going to get a lot of really good feedback points. And it's looking at the entire image gallery as a whole versus like one image for one image.
Exactly.
It's a little more efficient.
And again, the shopping scenario. So if I start with the orange glove and I say like, hey, you're looking for an orange glove for maintenance for your car, I'm already setting the stage. Yeah. So the response to the stack itself will be different if I'm just saying like you're buying disposable gloves.
Yeah.
It's going to change it completely. So you need to understand that an image stack poll, and that's why you also said in the start, time and money. Yeah. You're investing time because there are more shopping scenarios actual happening in the marketplace.
Yeah.
And it's not just one go.
Yeah. Yep. I'm on the same page with that. Look, I'm not going to go into these instructions. Setting this up is really straightforward. It's very, very easy to do on your own. You're just going to select image stack poll. Again, choose your situation or write out your situation. Think about what stage people are at in buying the product. And then you can upload your images for the image stack. And then you've got marketplace simulation here. Decide how it all looks. Select the images that you want to have included. I recommend, this is where Data Dive is helpful. Choose the people who are top competitors. And that's going to just help you get better results. Sometimes I'll look for the ones that, okay, there's a seller that is ranking really well, but their images are garbage, but it's because they're selling at a really low price. I might try to get some of the better looking images from other competitors. I don't always go for the top ranked competitor. And then basically you can change the image order. This is also something that's interesting to test. And then, choose your audience, and that's pretty much it. You can do advanced segmentation, checkout, pretty straightforward. Okay, so this is the last one that we have on here. Again, I think this is in order of priority. If you're only going to do one poll, do the purchase barrier poll, the drab poll. If you're going to do another poll, do the image stack poll, right? Conversion is pretty strong. But I also want to talk about the marketplace poll.
Yeah.
And so walk us through what's the point of the marketplace poll?
So the order is that we start with countering objections. Then we looked into the Amazon listing images, like how to establish the sale. But now we come to the pitch. Because the moment the pitch, I call this the pitch, because if someone is scrolling over the page, you need to understand what is needed to get that click, what is needed to stop the scroll. And the marketplace is helping you to test your main tile, so your image tile, that's image, title, price, ratings, everything. You can blur stuff. You already mentioned that before. You can blur elements, so you can really test also specific focus points, like how do people react to the image, or how do people react to image and title, everything.
Right.
And it's going to help you to see, like, does your main image and title generate the click up against competitors? And again, with these poll types, with the image tag poll and the marketplace poll, we provide positive feedback, but also negative feedback.
Yep.
So you're going to learn like what people don't like. And all the time that's needed, because you need to understand. Sometimes you see that it's winning in the marketplace poll, but then still there are, like, let's say 20 or 25 negative feedback. And it's about a specific element.
Yeah.
You can fix that in the image and it's going to raise the amount of clicks.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. And this approach, like typically what we'd say is, focus on this is why I think when we were talking about this poll, you were like, maybe we don't include it, maybe we do. If I like, you need to focus on CTR and CVR. It's super important. The drab is going to give you a lot to go on for both CTR and CVR. The image stack poll is probably going to be a little bit more related to conversion rate. And then the marketplace poll is going to be more related to CTR. You got to depend on what your budget is and if you can afford all three of these tests. I think when we ran them for the kids' binoculars, it's something in the ballpark of like $100 to $150 each. And so just ask yourself, like, you're launching a product or you have a product that's doing well, you're trying to optimize it. Like, it's not in the grand scheme of things probably that expensive overall to invest in the market research. You're almost certainly going to get better results. But I wouldn't sleep on this marketplace poll. You're able to get some really good insights into how to optimize the main image. You can watch our CTR video in terms of coming up with alternate variations for your main image, look at the main image matrix, and you can test a lot of different concepts to see what's going to work. The cream of the crop for me at the end of the day is you can get your results from Intellivy. It'll give you feedback on your main image. My opinion is go and create a lot of variations and then test them once a month, manage your experiments. That's the only thing that matters. And have like 4 to 6 variations of your main image that you're testing over a period of a year and just see what the data tells you. And then this can be helpful as well in terms of getting that feedback very quick. So if I go and develop like 4 to 6 versions of a main image, I can run it through the marketplace poll to get some kind of indication about what might perform better on Amazon. I might get some feedback in terms of how to make that image a little bit better before uploading, because as we all know, using manager experiments is going to take at least 4 weeks, sometimes a little bit longer to get conclusive results. This is going to help speed it up and help you understand why the specific main image is winning when Amazon is just going to give you the data.
Exactly. And then one of our taglines is market research for the digital shelf.
Okay.
So in the digital shelf, I find it also within the data dive. I really liked it a lot, because if I'm seeing all the search terms, you can also see that it's shifting.
Yeah.
So if you have a specific search term, you have different results.
Yeah.
So within the different results, you need to understand, do I generate a click in this result? It's not just the top competitors, like based on BSR.
Yeah.
Because based on BSR, well, that's another topic, but they are there because of other reasons. It's not necessarily because of the best main image most of the time.
Yeah, and this is something, even like, obviously I have a background in doing this for quite a years between, my agency and previous companies that I've worked for. I used to only test exclusively the main image. What I have really come to understand recently is you got to show the simulated search results. And I have a really good example. I was in Prague 3 weeks ago teaching a workshop, and we had someone in the workshop who was selling honey. They're selling raw honey. And they had some initial product packaging, and we basically did a search simulation test of their packaging versus the top competitors. It was supposed to be like an expensive, raw natural honey. We tested their current main image. It didn't perform very well. We used AI. We went into Midjourney and made some really good luxe luxury packaging, removed the background, and then we tested it again. what was interesting is like we normalized all of the pricing. But then what we did is we did another test where we had the exact same packaging, and then we actually made it $5 more expensive. We added a small business badge, we added an eco-friendly badge,
Hmm.
and then we also changed the title to say this was like, I'm not going to say the exact same thing because I don't want the product to be identifiable. We basically made it look like it was, the title said like sourced from natural Spanish wildflowers, which is like true on the honey. And we were able to, just by changing aspects that were not related to the main image at all, we were able to beat the top competitors without changing the main image at all. So you shouldn't underestimate the main image is important. But
All the
when
rest.
people are in the search,
Exactly.
when they're on that digital shelf, there's a lot of things that are going through their head, from price to reviews to badges that you have. And all of these things you can simulate and change inside of
Exactly.
Intellivy.
And that's exactly what you can do. So you have indeed you can change the image, but you can change the title. You can add a badge. You can add like it's sponsored. You can add the eco-friendly badge. It's all in there. So you just can click it and then boom, there it is. So it's
Yeah.
like a very easy mock-up generator. It's in the system. It's like click, click and go.
Yeah.
It's very easy to do.
Yeah. And just like think Amazon, it's all about you have all these different levers that you can pull. And some of these levers, badges, for example, are actually
Exactly.
very, very attainable. So like small business is accessible for almost all sellers. It's very easy to get. And even eco-friendly, like you're able to, do carbon offsets, you're able to reduce your packaging. And so don't underestimate the effect, especially
Yeah.
on some niches that
And
that
of
these
this
things can
video,
have.
in this recording, I started with hypothesis-driven
Yeah.
optimization. Now, this is the point we need to come back to that topic because
Okay.
if you're doing this, you have to test also and validate the specific element that you're testing. Because before you know it, you're just looking at winning and losing,
Yeah.
but it's not about that. So you also have to check in the responses. If you're doing something with an eco-friendly badge, just type into the results of the poll insights, eco-friendly or eco or badge or whatever, and make sure that people are replying to that so that we really are focusing on that. Sometimes I'm just adding a small element and nobody's noticing it at all. So
Yep.
that's not the reason why it's winning. It's something else. And you need to figure it out.
Yeah.
And with our poll insights, you get all the individual responses, contextual. So there's like a female in the age of 30, 50, negative feedback on option B, positive feedback on option D.
Yeah.
I specifically named D now because it's A, B, C, D, E. I really recommend to do more than just two.
Yeah.
But then you will see that in the actual result, like what is the reason why someone is choosing one over the other?
Yeah. Yeah, like kids' binoculars, people probably don't care about eco-friendly. Raw honey,
Exactly.
people don't know that the eco-friendly badge isn't talking specifically about your honey. They just know that this is like tangentially related. So like
Exactly.
some niches, and this is where the testing is going to help. Some niches like price is going to be super important, reviews are going to be super important. These other badges are going to be super important. So again, I'm not going to walk through the steps. It's super easy to set these up, but it's the same flow for all of them. You're going to start with choosing your marketplace poll. You're going to select your audience, set up the situation, and it's all pretty straightforward. Like we said, you can edit things like your
Yeah,
product
there you have
title.
it. Like
You
edit
can
product details,
you can
everything
do
is
all
in
of it
there.
right here.
Exactly. Yeah.
Uh, cool. What do you recommend in terms of audience size? I know it's going to adjust the cost of the poll. Is there a
Well, you
minimum that
see
you
now
look
here
at?
that 30 votes per item, but you can sometimes also do like a smaller amount. And it's always possible if you get the results in to increase, so to do
Yep.
extra. You can ask extra respondents.
Yep.
And by the way, something really special I want to announce. So when we went to Vegas this year, right now, we also announced to all the users, like to the market, Intellivy, we really are sending the message out that we have the highest quality of responses.
Okay.
And actually, we really even guarantee that. So if you find a response in the poll that you don't like, that you really think like this is rubbish,
Yeah.
send a message to our support team. We replace it for free.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Okay. So once you have all of these results done, then you're able to analyze the results and actually build out your creative, or if you already have creative, make optimizations to your creative.
Yeah.
So this is what the results from the purchase barrier poll, the drab analysis looks like. Like I said, you're getting 10 broken down answers. You can see these are for kids' binoculars. I spent hours putting this together. Intellivy gave this to me. I clicked a few buttons, and then in an hour, it's basically done. So durability, you can see here. Is it safe and suitable for children? How easy is it for children to use? These are all concepts that we created ourselves that Intellivy just gave
Yeah,
us.
and you mentioned before that it's kind of vague. That's the word that you use because they just see the main image in the title.
Yep.
But here you see durability and quality concerns. So if this is your product, you just have to figure out, is the durability and quality concern already something I can address and counter in the main image?
Yep.
Or should I also encounter and address it in the image tag?
Yep.
And I say both,
Yeah.
if possible, but that's exactly the route you have to take. So this is a hypothesis. Like you brief your designer, hey, listen, we have to do this or that to make sure that we lift the
Yeah.
quality concern.
Yep.
We're going to counter that. And then you check on an image tag poll, for instance. And if people praise your product because of quality,
Yeah.
compared to the competition, check in the box, that hypothesis is confirmed.
Bingo.
Great. Bingo.
Bingo. And I mean, look, you could see durability and quality concerns. There was advice and directions for the designer, but like that is the number one thing people were curious about. Their kids are going to be super rough with the binoculars.
Yeah.
So what do? We take that and we make this into this image, survives every adventure. We show the girl dropping the binoculars. We show that it's shock absorbent and water resistant. So if you drop it, you're hiking, you're camping, these are going to be safe. All you got to do is just think, how do I get from A basically to C? And okay, here's what the dominant reason to avoid buying is. Here's what the image asset needs to be like. This is how you improve conversion rate. It's not that complicated. People have questions, they have issues, they have problems. You just got to overcome them in a visual way that's easy to understand.
And it's not in this workflow that we created together, but what you can do at this point is that if you really have the image ready now, you can also do an impact poll. And the impact poll within Intellivy is going to show the image for 2 seconds. So
Yep.
0.5 and 2 seconds. And you can validate if the message is coming across the way you intended to do.
Maybe if we have some extra time before you leave, we'll sit down and we'll go through all of the images we created. I would, the impact poll is something I've been talking about also for a long time. I call it like speed of comprehension. How quickly is someone's brain going to understand the purpose of the image? And does your intended purpose match what a customer is going to what they're going to think? And so maybe if we have time before we leave, we could run some impact polls on the assets we created and see, I don't know, how good are they and where could they be
But
improved?
I would say that so from my point, we started with time and money. I think I'm also here to kind of give you a poll hack. It's not needed to test everything. So
Yeah.
at a certain point, you're like so excited about testing. I
Yeah.
I love it if you do it, but at a certain time, you can also say like it's not needed to do all the images. I would
Right.
say like the second image, for instance, that's a really important one.
Yeah.
You just have from all the objections and all the wants, needs, and desires, you just know like I have to come across on this specific feature or USP.
Yeah.
Now that's the one that you have to test in the impact poll. So I do not recommend to do all 7 images. It's fine if you want to do it, and if you have enough money, go for it.
Yeah.
Be my guest, but it's not needed.
Yeah. Yeah, and this is a competitive niche. I think the top sellers are doing $250,000 a month. It's heavily Chinese dominated. Like at the end of the day, with kids' binoculars, you can spend $1,000 testing an Intellivy and have the best images. But I think what a lot of parents probably want is they want the binoculars for $9.99. And if you're a US based seller and you can only sell it for $19.99, it might just be an uphill battle and it doesn't matter how good your images are. That might be the reality. So kind of like weigh costs and benefits.
True. And then true.
This is we're going to wrap up in a few minutes here.
Yeah.
This is analyzing the image stack poll.
Yeah.
So again, we can see all of the image stack people are scrolling through. We have competitor image galleries here. Really easy to analyze the results. Got some good AI analysis features. And then these are the results from the marketplace poll. You're going to notice here, this doesn't have, I don't believe, one of our images. This is like a baseline test that we ran in advance.
On
But
competition.
you're going to notice here that I'm going to zoom in and you can see this in the other video. You're going to notice here, we've got the product, we've got some inclusions, the little case, and we've got a lifestyle image. And so what did we do when we went and created our own main image? Well, it's not that complicated. We literally went and did the same thing and made a bunch of variations where we show a lifestyle image, we show the product, we show the case, we show the bird watching guide, and then we just tried a bunch of different configurations, some with packaging. And I think the one that actually performed the best, I don't remember off the top of my head, but yeah, it's all there. So once you've analyzed all of your results, you're good to go. You can either use that feedback to optimize your images or to go and create a new test These are just a breakdown of the poll. Name of the game in the end is Intellivy is going to give you all of this feedback. It's going to tell you what won. None of this matters until you actually get on the Amazon platform. So I cannot stress enough. Go and actually upload these to manage your experiments. You can upload multiple variations for your main image. You can upload multiple variations for your secondary images. You can try different order of images. You can try different A+ content modules. You can try it all, but test it inside of the platform. I recommend having one test going at all times and do those in month-long intervals. It's a lot of very quick to set up the polls, and then you're basically just waiting for results. If you spend the time and are diligent to set up these tests over a period of a year, not everyone is going to be a winner. But what I look at it is if you're able to make small incremental gains and figure out, okay, now I know this is my best main image. This is the best order of my secondary images. This is the best configuration of my A+ content or the information density of my A+ content. Obviously, I'm going to suggest that you go inside Data Dive and make a highlight in Rank Radar. So you can click on the date and you can say, hey, on December 21st, we uploaded V3 of the kids' binoculars main image. We're using the second version of our image stack, and we're on our version 3 of our premium A+ content. Just to give yourself some notes to see as you're uploading and testing what is performing the best. So I think that's everything I have today. I'm just going to go through a couple of very quick announcements here, and then we will wrap up. I know this has been a little bit longer than a normal session, but if you have any questions, you can feel free to drop them into the chat below. Peter won't be with me, but I will do my best to answer. And if there's anything that I don't know, I will make sure I follow up with him in person, and then we'll go from there. So if you are around, we have Camp Econ back for the third year in Cancun, Mexico. This is going to be May 18 to 21. We always make this a super interactive event, and we have a ton of time that we've been preparing content. So unlike other events where it's speaker, 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 it's 30 minutes of speaking and it's 60 to 90 minutes of hands-on. So we have a pre-launch, we have a post-launch track and executive. It's an all-inclusive resort. It's a brand new location. You can go and scan the QR code or go to Camp Econ to get your tickets. This is going to be a little bit late for people who catch the YouTube recap, but tonight we have an atomic golf networking party here in Vegas. It's always a big event, usually 400 to 500 people. You can register here. Data Dive users get a discount. Inner Circle people get to go, I think they get to go for free, which is good. So if you're in Vegas, definitely don't want to miss out on this. It's a really cool venue. And then check out the YouTube channel for more. That's everything I have. Peter, did I miss anything?
No.
Okay, I think that's pretty comprehensive. Remember to check out the other video as well. You're going to see a link down in the description below. This is going to be Peter, Paul, and I in New York in person, and we set up all of these polls. We talk about how to do the wording for your situation, how to select the correct audience demographics, and all of the UI about how to get the polls running. Peter, thank you so much, man. I really appreciate it. Yeah. And yeah, everyone, we'll see you in the next Office Hours.